Jackson Radio Show.
As a prosecutor for years, in appreciating homicide and being able to talk with a judge about it and a jury about it, I had to look at autopsy photographs. When you see the effect of this extreme violence on a human body, and especially the body of a child, maybe it will shock some people into understanding this cannot be a political issue. We have to be practical. I support the Second Amendment, but we have to have smart gun safety laws. And we cannot tolerate a society and live in a country with any level of pride when our babies are being slaughtered.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. That was Kamala Harris, the woman who wants to be king eventually. Dumber than a box of rocks. Leftist, Democrat, talking about slaughtering babies. It is so crazy. Have you seen the statistics on people, the number of people who are killed in based on gun facts or whatever else, the number of people who get killed? It's ridiculous, the number of people who get killed every single day in this country based on whatever. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, like, whether people that die from cigarette smoke or people that die from, murder. So here's some statistics for you. 92% of mass shootings since 2009 occurred in gun-free zones. I'm sure most of you are aware of that statistic. A 2013 U.S. Department of Justice study found that violence had fallen by nearly 50%, gun violence fallen nearly 50% since its 1993 peak. So even with the craziness of leftism and the nature of leftism growing all the time, it's down. Gun violence is down 50%. Now, what's interesting about that is it's directly tied to abortion. And Kamala Harris won't tell you this. None of the leftists will tell you this. But the reason they love Planned Parenthood is because of that statistic I just gave you. Killing these black kids who would be born to single black mothers is the single biggest factor in the reduction of gun violence. The only thing that competes anywhere close is the fact that in areas where there are lots of guns, where there's concealed carry or open carry, you have a lot less gun violence. But don't let the facts get in the way. Here's this so-called gun loophole. It's a myth that doesn't exist. There's no loophole in federal law that specifically exempts gun show transactions from any other laws applied to other gun sales. Not one. But you hear the left talk about it. That's where the money is. Demonize the guns. The NRA, just for the record, they love this period. I hate to tell you this. They're not wishing that these kids had been shot. Certainly not that. I'm not, impugning them in that respect. But they love the discussion of guns. Even in the time of Trump, the guns can be stolen. Boom. Memberships go up. Number of guns purchased go up. Ammo purchases go up. They love this time. Guns are used, get this, 2.5 million times a year in self-defense in the United States alone. Now, I'd compare that to the amount of gun crime any time you want. The following countries enacted gun bans before committing genocide in the 20th century: Ottoman Turkey, Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, China, Guatemala, Uganda, and Cambodia. The site of some of the largest assassinations, depopulation, genocide of human beings in the history of man have occurred in all those countries. We're talking millions of deaths. Millions. Not necessarily by the gun, but it could have been by the gas chamber. Who knows? But the millions of deaths. But that's not even the stat I was looking for. I was looking for the one that talked about the number of people who are killed on a daily basis in this country. And guns are so far down the line, particularly rifles are so far down the line, they're negligible. More people are killed in bus crashes than by so-called assault weapons every single year. Do you think the left cares? Do you think that they want to give you the real scoop on this? Of course not. And that's why we've got the issues we have. We have leftists who will give you a fake narrative just because. They're just evil people. I also want to play, this is the guy on MSNBC, and he's discussing MSNBC blaming guns on this, for this crime that was committed by this knucklehead leftist named Nicholas Cruz. You know, the white supremacist.
Tammy Light here. Let's bring in NBC's Tom Costello, our colleague, with more on the gunman. Tom, what do we know?
19 years old, Nicholas Cruz is his name, as you have heard. He was viewed by many as somebody who was volatile, who had some preoccupation with guns and had posted that preoccupation online. He was identified by the school last year as being somebody who might be a threat, and in fact was expelled from the school last year because he was viewed as a threat. But in many ways, he fits this demographic. He fits this MO, if you will, of suspects we have seen time and time and time again involved in not only school shootings but mass shootings. But in the case of school shootings, too often a white male, a boy, a teenage boy, or a 20-something boy who is disenfranchised. The FBI profilers will tell you very often they're disenfranchised. They've been cut off for whatever reason from the other students. Maybe it's bullying, maybe it's social awkwardness, maybe it is a relationship that they wanted to pursue with some girl that didn't work out, and for whatever reason they turn to violence. They turn to dark violence and video games or on the internet, and that seems to be yet again what has played out here again today, according to people who knew him and according to at least one teacher who said that he was a threat to other students last year. Chris, I looked up, God, I hate doing this because we do this and we report on these mass killings and we think this can't have happened again. But let me run through the numbers here. Las Vegas massacre, how easily we forget, 59 people killed there. The Orlando nightclub massacre, 49. Virginia Tech, 32. Newtown school shooting, that was 27. You remember the Sutherland Springs church shooting last year in Texas in November, 25 dead there. Columbine in Littleton, Colorado, my hometown, 13 dead there, and that was 19 years ago. This, according to Bill Bratton, the former NYPD commissioner, is yet another example of how this country seems to have this sick preoccupation with guns, and it manifests itself into these really terrible mass shootings.
What a bunch of hogwash. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here, KJRadio.com. So I love you. So the MO of the suspects, white male boy, teenage, maybe 20-something. FBI says disenfranchisement, bullying, awkwardness, maybe it's a relationship, it turns to violence. Let me ask you, who's the most under fire right now on the left? The most under fire demographic? You tell me. Is it white females? Is it LGBT, transsexuals? Who's under fire? Anybody? Anybody? Are you saying white male? Particularly young white male? They've given them rape culture when rape culture is really Muslims. That's the ones who are doing rape culture. If you really want to break it down and go into the demographic, white male leftist, undoubtedly one of the most vicious, cruel people in the world. They're the people who will put a cat in a microwave for shiggles. They're the people who will start a fire just to see how it burns. They're the people who will stalk your daughter and torment her. Unquestionably so. It is not your white male conservative kid. That kid is the salt of the earth. So is the female. They wish nothing bad on anybody. They just want you to earn what you get. Anyway, white male 20-something, disenfranchised. Why? Because he's been bullied, he's awkward in relationships or whatever. In other words, he hasn't been socially adjusted with all of the tolerance that they've been teaching. He's bullied, he's disenfranchised, he's awkward in relationships. Ergo, he turns to violence, and they don't see the connection. Well, I don't quite understand what the deal is there. What's up with that? So then he gives us all the shootings. He doesn't give us the shootings of, and by the way, teenage boy, 20-something. Was Orlando shot up by a 28-something boy, or was that shot up by a millennial Muslim? Just somebody remind me. I don't remember who shot up the Sutherland Church, but I don't think he was a millennial. I can guarantee you the Las Vegas shooter was not a millennial. So he's trying to make us believe the unbelievable, And of course, there were schools in there, Virginia Tech, Newtown, and Columbine. But he didn't talk about the Muslim shootings. Other than Orlando, he didn't mention San Bernardino. He didn't mention the Sarnath brothers trying to kill people and get away with it. He didn't mention a host of other potential shootings and things, beheadings. What about the Navy guys that got shot by that crazed Muslim? He didn't mention that one. But he says, we have a sick preoccupation with guns. I don't know how you feel. I'm not preoccupied with guns. I only think about guns when these morons try to accuse us every 5 minutes of saying that we have a gun culture that goes out and kills people. With the number of guns in this country, if we wanted to destroy people, we could do it.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.